Hey, how's it going, YouTube? Lawler here, as always. It's that time of the year where we get to talk about everybody's favorite thing, and yes, it's roster changes. This is going to be an interesting one because there is a lot of conversation going about, and unfortunately, young kids make mistakes, and it is to the benefit of all of us. Some information being leaked publicly due to one of the players not making their replay uploads private. That being in mind, there is some conversations just in general that we've discussed and talked about in previous history. Again, if you guys pull up my roster document in the description down below, a couple things. Number one, it is free. It is open to everybody. There's a tab with all this information. You can check it out at any time. We try to update it frequently. And number two, while you guys are down in the description, make sure you guys consider hitting subscribe, turn on notifications, as well as following me on all my socials. Helps me out greatly. Join the Discord. It's appreciated. That being said, this is a document with LCQs that we've been tracking and kind of actively trying to give people an idea of what may be when it comes to NA and EU, because that's where the most movement is being had, specifically in NA. As a general guideline or as a general conversation, when we're talking about roster rumors and things of that nature, everybody tries to try out with everybody. Like, nobody really limits themselves. There is kind of a hierarchy of like, hey, these are the players that we think are the most talented or the most valuable, and we're going to swap a couple of those in. But people, I think for the first time in a long time, and more so I would say in the last couple of years, NA is starting to understand that up-and-comers, new talent, give them a shot. Whether they're 14 like Mech, or if they're an old gun that's been around for a long time, give them a chance. See how it goes. Worst case scenario, it's an hour. And maybe that's where we should start. If you guys aren't familiar with how tryouts, scrims, and things like that work, just as a widespread, what generally happens is teams will pair up for an hour. They don't play a best of 7. They play as many matches as they can in an hour's time. That is a scrim. So you're dedicating an hour to your 3 players against another team of 3 players. Ideally, you have at least 2 or 3 scrims back to back to back. Just so you can kind of get a feel for things. You can see if it's like just a one-off, whatever it is. And that gets more complicated if people are away for, I don't know, like the major, like it is right now. So a lot of people are trying to get in a bunch of reps right now before the major, and then ultimately kind of have an understanding of where they want to be with their team before they give a couple last tryouts to see, you know what, how do we feel about this one? Because a lot of it does come down to feel. It's really difficult to implement strategies and stuff when you're just trying to find out natural chemistry. Do we as a team naturally click? Do we communicate well? Do we get along? That's what people are trying to formulate and try to find out. Easy way to do that is if you go into a scrim and you start dominating the other team that you respect. Pretty good. Pretty good way to test it. So with that in mind, let's talk about some of the information that has come out. Some of these are old just because it was useless for me to just put out a video on one situation. Unless you guys would like me to do that. Let me know in the comments. If you guys want me to do one-off really quick, like couple minute videos, let me know. Either way, first one that has been discussed and the one that I think is the most notable that we've been talking about. We're going to break this down from both sides, both from the Shopify side as well as the players coming inside. So the rumors coming from Shift. This is not a rumor. This is fact. This is something that we can all confirm. This is stuff that's been talked about on stream and stuff as well. It's not even a rumor at this point. Shopify is basically targeting 2 players. They're looking at Evo and Wavy. Both very talented, both with a lot of talent and the ability to play upset. Both, I think, have that peak moment in them, as we've seen Wavy kind of more of a grinder, more of a new generation coming in, while Evo has been there and done that. And some of that comes with some negative stereotype and negative stigma. Now, if I'm Shopify, I have kept 2-piece and Parth together for a long time. It has not worked out. We brought in a new veteran, a captain role. It still did not work out. Therefore, we are finally saying, you know what? Something's got to change. To which they are deciding whether it is 2-piece or Parth. It seems like they believe more in 2-piece. Therefore, that is the decision they have to go with. Most people will look at this and go, hey, Evo's had his chance. There's this stigma around him. Wavy every time. But something to keep in mind, and this is the stuff that they have to figure out, is number one, how do the guys play together? Instinctively, in scrims, what is our natural chemistry? And from what I've heard, both are going pretty well. Both players are doing pretty well within their scrims. Evo, I know for a fact, is a scrim demon. He plays very, very well in scrims. And the conversation that needs to be had is, when you're playing in the LCQ, you have 2 weekends. It's one event. You play in your open qualifiers, which you should realistically win through pretty easily to get in top 32. And then when you get into Swiss, it's 3 lives. I need you to perform in one event, one weekend realistically. And while people are going to be talking about what potentially may be like you're not locked in, you're not putting in the time, the effort, the whatever, Evo showing up to one event, we've seen him do exactly that, and the guys pop off. I mean, shoot, the boys even last split did not perform poorly. They were a very threatening team. So if Evo can come in, he's a veteran, he kind of knows the song and dance of what is expected as an RLCS top team. You don't have a whole lot of time to adjust and make adjustments. You can come in, make an immediate impact. You can be good. We know you're talented. You just got to show up and play. There is definite reason for believing in Evo as a priority, as a veteran that has shown up in high pressure situations, that also, if they are to hypothetically make Leon as the LCQ team, he has experience on LAN at a major with Dignitas. Can't be said that about Wavy. Now, all the other factors for Wavy, up and coming talent, he's a grinder, like great kid, like all the positives, but the one thing is he's unproven technically. While he is an RLCS vet and has played for TSM as well as most recently with Deleted, it's a little bit different. It's a little bit different when you get to Leon. So things to keep in mind. We'll have to wait and see how those go out. I'm sure they're actively doing tryouts and try to figure out who it is they want to lock in. We had roster leaks. This was a Reddit thread. Unfortunately, Mech life lesson. Your ball chasing profile cannot be public. There are Reddit detectives everywhere. They are trying to find out anything and everything they can. Also, shout outs to Nico. Thank you for the raid. Some of the active rosters that are being tried out, rather than you guys trying to discern all this, here is some of them in the bottom. The first ones, obviously, people know that 2-Piece Rebels and Wavy have been playing. 2-Piece Rebels and Evo have been playing. The conversation in that was that those haven't popped up. And to add clarification, Europeans between Crispy and Ixo, Europeans between this team as well. A lot of these players were here on a collegiate play, and they're not in season or in semester, so they are back in Europe temporarily until they can hopefully come back maybe mid-August. So there is a circumstance where you're not seeing those guys scrim because they're literally not in the States. It's just not a thing that they're able to do with the ping difference and everything else. That's part of the reason to clarify for that. As for some of these other ones, you are seeing concepts between Com 5-up and Mech, Parth 5-up and Mech, Parth Eris and Mech. It is interesting to see a 14-year-old who many don't have the experience other than him playing with like Flitz and crew, and I think it's Toasty, is getting a shot, which is not the case that has happened in the past. So credit there. You're seeing Talk thrown in the mix, some love given to NA Devo, but names you're missing. You're not seeing anything with Gyro. You're not seeing anything with the former Pobe team with hockey and stuff frequently, or why can't I think of their second? Creams. You're not seeing those two playing together and those uploads going out. You are only seeing what Mech is playing on and what he is playing against. So some of the scrims that they're getting. You're not seeing anything with the major teams. You're not seeing with some of these others. But again, some concepts. Talk, Aqua, and Evo is a team that they scrimmed at one point. Again, I think we talked about this a long time ago. Some of the names that are in conversation of ones that you should be paying attention to. Number one, Chicago, we haven't seen anything of. Hoxer is trying in a couple here and there, like Mech, Hoxer, and Parth. Parth is getting some different opportunities, which is also proving this even more so. And then the other ones, the conversations. Com, who took a bit of a break. You're seeing 5-up from the Pobe. You're seeing Wavy on a couple different rosters. And this is just one perspective. So keep that in mind. There is a lot more going on. Everybody is trying everyone. But again, if you want access to this, check out the description down below. Go to the roster document. It's the 4th tab. It says LCQ breakdown. It will help you out immensely. I will be tracking these to the best of my ability for things that are made public. Ones that are not made public, I will be keeping my mouth shut about. One thing, though, that remains true, not a whole lot from Europe. Not a whole lot of Europe conversation going on. So it'll be interesting to see on if those teams stick or if we do see changes there. That stuff has been pretty hush-hush. So I'm sure Shift will have stuff in the coming weeks. Make sure you go give them their love and attention as they continue to try to do the dirty work here. But that's going to do it for today's video. Any questions, comments, concerns? Let me know if you think any of those rosters have a chance for LCQs, because that's really what we're talking about. Can any of those teams realistically go and beat a Complexity, a Shopify new gen? We'll have to wait and see. Too late. I'm out of here. Appreciate y'all. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.